Retired 9 News anchor Gary Shapiro joins us to talk about it. It still gets you to see that. And you were there watching everything, experiencing what they were.
I've seen that.
Like,
I've seen that piece probably 100 times, and every time you watch that piece, it's emotional because Manny did such a great job capturing what was going on, and we didn't, at the time we didn't really know what was going on either, and so we were kind of just like, keep shooting, something's going on, and he put that piece together that night, and man, it really tells the story, doesn't it?
And the silence of everybody leaving. It's like everyone knows, but you don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people that ask me about it, what was it like? I say, it looked worse on TV because they had a close-up of the shuttle. And, for us, we were on the ground and it was 2 miles up. And so, it was a flash. And you could tell something happened because smoke was going in all directions. But it was confusing. We really didn't know that it exploded until they made that announcement, which was maybe 20 seconds later.
The Challenger launch was a big deal for a lot of reasons, but Krista McAuliffe, first teacher into space, growing up in Massachusetts, which is where she was from, it was all the talk.
Yeah.
Kennedy's, Whitey Bulger, and Krista McAuliffe, those are the names you knew when you were growing up. But there were a lot of Colorado connections too.
Yeah. Krista McAuliffe was such a big deal. One of the teachers we went with reminded me recently that Krista McAuliffe said this was going to be the ultimate field trip for her, and she was going to teach from space.
Yeah.
And all these teachers were excited about that. They were going to do the lesson plans and that sort of thing, and that's why it had captured the imagination of the country. But you're right, there were a lot of Colorado connections. Beside these kids that we went with, there was a astronaut on the crew, Ellison Onizuka. He was a CU graduate. There was a satellite on board that was designed at CU called Halley's Spartan Halley, and it was gonna study Halley's comet, which only comes around every 76 years. So this was going to be the opportunity for that, and of course it exploded with the Challenger and ended that mission. But yeah, there were a lot of dignitaries and VIPs from Colorado that were there that we were doing interviews with and that sort of thing. So it was a big deal for the state.
You stayed in touch with those kids as well, which is really important to see how they look back at this 40 years later.
It's incredible, and tonight at 10 we're going to hear from some of them. I caught up with 3 of them recently, and they're scattered all over the country, all over the world actually. One of them lives in Spain now. But these kids were, I don't know, 5th, 6th grade, maybe 10, 12 years old, and so now they're in their 50s. They have all, that I've kept up with, have had these incredible careers. One guy is a filmmaker, like a world-famous filmmaker. He does environmental films. Engineers. One guy's working on a humanoid robot right now. They've had all these great kind of science-centered careers, and I think that stems from the experience they went through.
I can't wait to see that piece. Gary, thank you for reminding us about being there. I know those are hard things to remember, but we have to remember history.
Got to remember history, and it's just, I asked one of the scientists that was involved recently, I saw him, and I asked him, I said, what do you tell kids that weren't even born yet today about what happened? And he says, I tell them that because of Challenger, that crew did not die in vain. Because of Challenger, things are a lot safer in space today than they were then. And so,
That's great.
Well, Gary, thank you.
We look forward to the story tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.